Hi, my name is Jay McGrath. I'm president of Grath Incorporated. Today I want to tell you a little bit about GrathicLink for Salesforce.com, how it works, and how it can affect your business. But before I get into the Salesforce.com demo, I want to show you a few slides, a little bit about Graphic, and an overview data flow diagram of how the process works, and a sample report, and then we can get into the Salesforce.com demo. So I went a little bit about Graphic. We've been helping customers migrate call detail record information from their legacy phone systems to their CRM application so that their CRM application has that historical record of a call actually being made. Without our application, many customers were manually inputting the data as they were making the phone calls, but in our case it's more automated for efficiency and accuracy. And today we have over 1,000 customers across the United States using our product. And the GrathicLink for Salesforce.com is a managed package available for download on the Salesforce.com App Exchange. It has been security tested and reviewed by Salesforce.com data engineers to make sure that no security breach will happen from our application, nor will it affect your data operations in any way whatsoever. So before we get started into the demo, I think it's important to show you an overview of how the data flow works. If you look on the left-hand side here of the screen, most people have a phone system that's powering the phones on their desk, and that phone system could be something like an Avaya, Nortel, NEC, Mitel. There's just a whole bunch of them out there. And then the extension on your desk may be driven by that phone system. So when a phone call is made, whether a customer calls in or one of your sales reps calls out, that call is being tracked, and as soon as the call is completed and someone hangs up, the phone system creates what's called a call detail record. And we collect that information, whether it's through hardware we put on site or in a lot of cases just software we put on site. That we will automatically transfer that raw information across the internet, across a secure location, so it's encrypted, to our data processing center, in which we will apply filters to that data to decrypt it and into a more legible form, like the date and time, the duration, extension, who made the phone call, what direction, and etc. So different phone systems give us different information. Some are just a little bit of information, or some are a lot. But once we collect that information, we'll queue that information into your queue until your Salesforce.com instance requests it. And I'll show you an example of that, how we make that setting. So Salesforce.com will, when it's ready, it will say, hey, send us all the new information that you have since the last time I called. And we will send that information and insert it into your database. Now, once it's inserted into your database, there's one more thing we do, is that we'll do an automatic association to known phone numbers in your database. So if the phone number is associated with a person or a company, we'll be able to make that association automatically and link them together. If there is no phone number match, well, then it just will have a record that has no match, and that can be set up for someone to manually do that later. But once the data is in your Salesforce.com database, it's business as usual for the sales managers to view the data and to look at reports. The sales reps can modify the data in the way they want to. They can associate it whoever they want to do it and things like that. So we are a service, not a product, but a service to collect that information off your phone system and insert it into your data.com instance. The sample report that I created just shows the calls and the amount. We can add columns or delete columns as we want, but in this case, you can see some associations on the right-hand side of this report that were automatically associated, and some were not automatically associated. And we can drill down, and I'll show you some example of that. So what we'll do is we'll insert the data into your Salesforce.com activities object, and we'll automatically associate the rep and who made the phone call based on the extension or the authorization code they used. And we will associate it with the contacts or companies, or as I mentioned earlier. And the last point I want to put on here is that we use all the native Salesforce.com functions. We don't manipulate or change your data in any way. We just insert that data with the association, and then we're done. So I don't want you to think that we do any other modification with your data after that point. And then from the demo perspective, we will I'll show you how to set up the information to see how easy it is. It's one setup per organization, not per monitor. So if you have 5 people using it or you have 500 using it, it doesn't matter. We will have one setup, and I'll show you how easy that is. I'm not going to demonstrate in this demonstration of how the install package goes, but you go to the Salesforce.com App Exchange and hit the Get It button and download it, and it installs on your computer or on the application, and you're ready to go as long as someone with the right credentials is downloading that application. I'll show you some reports and dashboards, and I'll also show you how the users can view the activity list of unassigned calls, or how they can manually associate calls with objects, and how it automatically will do this. And I'll show you this in the demo here. And of course, for the reports, you can always drill down to the data as you need. So let's go into the demonstration here. I want to show you here that this dashboard has no data. There's no data in this. If I go to home, I deleted all the activities in here. I can show you that there are no activities that are shown on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert some dummy data into the database. And I'll insert that now, and then I'll show you the setup. So normally do the setup first, but I just want to make sure it's a success. So I have a dummy script that I'm going to run this script, and I'm going to insert 50 records into the database. So that just means that, as I showed you earlier in that diagram, how we can use queued up ready for you to go. So that's all set. Let's go back to there. So before we set this up, let's go to the Salesforce.com Manage application, the GrathicLink. And let's do a setup here. And there are 2 things that we need to know to set up this caller to change. And this is only done once by an administrator and no one else. So the first one we want to do is go into the Setup tab. And in the Setup tab, we are going to provide the administrator with a secret code and a URL in which to send this information. And what the sales rep, the administrators will put in there is a frequency, a synchronization frequency. How often do you want the job to execute? How often do you want to ask for the new change information? So if you have a lot of calls and you want information as quickly as possible, set a low number like 1. If you run a report maybe once or twice a day, set a larger one like 300, whatever you want to do. We have a way to make sure everything's tested, so I can run the test application and say your test call out to Graphic was successful, so there's a link. And then what I want to do is I want to schedule a job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule a job. I'm going to hit the schedule button, and it's going to tell me in 1 minute from now, because that's our sync, I'm going to run this job. So for every minute, I'm going to run the job. So let me just save that. And that's about all you have to do on the setup side. And then one last thing you have to do is tell the application who you want to monitor. So in this case, I'm going to go to the monitors. These are the reps that I am going to monitor in this application. So 4001, 2, 3, and 6 are extensions I'm going to monitor, even though I imported over 50 dummy data. Some of that other data would be extensions that are not those, but I'm not going to get a report on that. I'm only going to monitor what I put on there. I can add or delete extensions on the fly whenever I need to. So if I want to add something, I just hit new and add 4007 if I want to. So that's all you have to do. So those 2, it's all you have to do for setup. So let me go back to the sales. And we're going to run the report. So over 1 minute has happened. I'm going to go down to my schedule view, my activity list. I'm going to see. And you'll see that I have 3 new calls in there. Those are 3 that are from that dummy data. Now these particular calls do not have an association because they're my unassigned. So as a sales rep, I would go in there and I could see for my extensions that they're monitoring for me, they're unassigned. So let me just go assign one. I'm going to assign the one that's the 2000. So I just hit edit. And I can say I want to assign this to an account. And I just want to say, well, I know that came from Acme Shoes. Okay, contracts are on the way. And I could actually change the subject if I want to. important. Whatever I want to do. Okay. So once I put in the information I want to see, I can save it. Now all of a sudden that record disappears from my unassigned list. Well, let's see where it went. I'll show you where it went to a report. So I'm going to go to a big reports. And then on the My Team's calls, you'll see all the calls that have come in for the people that I'm monitoring, because remember I'm only monitoring those extensions. And I have Acme Shoes, that's the one I just put in. But look, it also automatically associated other calls, outbound calls to KEI or to Hydrite Chemical, etc. So those are automatically associated, and those are some of the unassociated. If I want to go down to the reports, I can actually drill down and edit a report on the fly too. So I can go down to this and say edit. And let's say I want to contact this to Joe Acme. No, let's just try to do Johnny Pelk. So it's associated with him. I can put in other information I want to put on it, save the data. Let's go back to my reports. Teams calls. And there's Johnny Pelk, Sonic Solutions. Added that there. So if you see, I've just created an easy way for calls to be captured automatically. So here's how it could really help somebody. Let's say instead of somebody stopping after every phone call and going into their, let's go to the to my home, and I'm with an account, and we're going to Dale Tire, and I can actually put in an application or log an activity. I can do that manually, but why not just pound through a whole bunch of calls that day and be able to have it right there, and that way you can set them up together. Or you can edit it at the end of the day and with your notes and annotations and things of that nature. From the reports perspective, managers can come in and create whatever reports they want. You can customize the reports all you want. You can add it. You can change the data if you want. So it's unlimited what you want to do with that. Let's see. Take Sonic Solutions for example. I want to show you one other thing. I can go into accounts. Go down to Sonic Solutions, and the record is logged into the call activity is logged into the account. So for future, 1 year from now, Johnny says, "Hey, you never called me." Well, let's say, "Well, yes, Mr. Pleck, I did. We called you twice. 2 different people called you from on the day on 11/25 last year, and we have notes." So that's how you can look into saving that information. But that's pretty much it that I want to show you. I want to keep this short and simple. Please do give us a call, and we're glad to go into more detail of how this can work for you and how it can set up with your phone system. We do integrate to some hosted phone systems as well. It's just really, we're trying to create a simplified and automated way for you to be able to automatically collect information from your phone system or your process and insert into your database so that you can continue with your business going forward. So with that, I will sign off, and thank you very much for your attention.